In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use 3 separate programming techniques. Obviously, we're going to revisit using import random. We're going to be manipulating two-dimensional lists. We're going to be doing 2 other things. One of them is called popping, so using the pop command, and another thing is using len. So I'm going to show you each of those, and we're going to use these in order to extract cards from the main deck template, the main deck of cards in the game, in order to give them to the players. So adding them to 2 new lists, one called player 1 hand, one called player 2 hand, which I'm going to create now. So each of those players can have a hand of cards, as we say in card games, which contain cards extracted from this list. So they're no longer going to be on this list, they're going to be passed into 2 other lists using the pop function. So those have been declared there. We're now saying to Python that we've got 2 new lists. Each of them is going to be a separate deck of cards or a separate hand of cards, and they're ready to go. Before we do this though, I need to introduce you to something called the len function. So if I print len deck template, if I print the length of the deck template, I get the number 52, because there are 52 individual items. Okay. I'm going to also introduce you to the idea of popping, which means taking a number away or an item away from the list. So I'm going to write deck underscore template dot pop. I'm going to just keep taking item 10. So if I now pop an item from the list, I'm reducing the size of it by 1, which is now C51. And I can quite comfortably remove item 10 a few times. Just to show you. So we're going to complete this command a few times. Just 1, 2, 3, 4 times I'm popping it. So start off with 52. I then pop item 10 out of the list. So I'm just removing an item. I then output it again. The length of deck template is now down to 51, etc, etc, etc. So it tells you how many items are in a list. And this is really useful because if we're playing a game and we are designing it so the list can go up and down in size, because that's what happens a lot in games, we want to be able to know the length of it so we can extract a number, as opposed to just having to constantly guess how long the list is as programmers and keep writing that in as part of the programming. So it's a nice little way of doing this, and I'll show you how to loop this instead of having to type out the same line again and again at some point. Okay, so we've got len and popping. So remember, len tells you how long something is. In fact, just to show you how len works, I could type len Mr. Meehan, and that will tell you how long my full teacher name is, including the space. So if I print run, oh, I've got to print it. How quaint. So I've got to print it to output it. 9 characters. Okay. Remove the space. So len can be used for working out the length of a word, even a block of random text. Like word counts are quite useful. This is quite useful for. So 50 characters exactly. You couldn't have even kind of got that randomly. So len could be used for anything, and as I said, it's used for deck template to tell us how many cards we currently have. I've got 52 because I've not popped any of them. Right, so far so good. Popping and len. Okay, because we're going to use this to build quite a complex statement now. I want to take a card out of the main deck and pass it into player 1's hand. So a card from here somewhere, and I want to pass it into player 1's hand. So I need to write some code to do that. Now how I do that is I say p1 underscore hand, which is currently empty. is now going to be equal to P1 underscore hand plus, and remember the name of the thing is deck template, so I'm going to take deck template, right, dot pop. Instead of choosing like I did with number 10 a minute ago, I'm going to use a random number. Random dot rand int. It's going to pop out a random number from the list. From 0, I could put 51, but then the first time you pop, you're reducing the list size to 50 instead of 51, so you have to keep adjusting that. It's nice just to have a reusable statement instead. So instead of writing 51, let's type len deck underscore template. Okay. So that's 52. And just after those brackets there, after deck templates brackets, we type -1. That looks really complex, doesn't it? But actually, oh, and I need to put square brackets around that because it's going to be a little mini list item. Actually, it's not too complex at all. What we're doing is we're saying, get template, pop an item out of it, a randomly chosen item, from 0 to the length of the current list, but -1, because the length is 52, but the last item is going to be 52 minus 1, because it's going to be item 51, isn't it? And then when we pop that, we do it again. So all I'm going to do is now copy that, Control C, paste it down there, and this one will take from a deck now that's got 50 items and 51 items, sorry, and then so on and so forth. And I can now print P1 underscore hand. I'm going to print empty space. I'm going to print deck underscore template. I'm also going to write player 1 hand equals. Why am I doing that? Because I want to just outline what's what. So let's run that now. We've got King of Hearts and the Queen of Clubs. Let's have a look at the rest of the deck then. King of Hearts. So we've got King of Clubs, King of Diamonds, no King of Hearts. You can see there it's gone. It's been popped. And then the Queen of Clubs. Definitely no Queen of Clubs there. Because remember, I write them all out in alphabetical order because I'm quite pedantic like that. Okay, so that's worked. So let's run it again. 10 of Hearts, 8 of Hearts. There is definitely no 8 of Hearts there because it would be between these two. And there's definitely no 10 of Hearts, which would be between, where is it? Between the 10 of Diamonds and the 10 of Spades. Again, I do it in alphabetical. So that's definitely worked. So again, I'll just explain this to you. Player 1 hand, which starts off as empty, is equal to itself plus a new mini list, because I've put 2 square brackets around everything. And that is from taking an item from deck template, which we're going to pop out of deck template. So we're going to pop it out and put it into player 1 hand. What item we want from deck template to be popped is random. It's a random integer. So that's from 0, okay, with the comma there means to however long deck template happens to be, which starts off as 52, but we're going to put -1 because the last item is actually called item 51 because the first item is 0 instead of item 1 because of the way that computers store things with binary, as I've talked about in previous lessons. So again, it's pretty complex, but if you break it down into the smaller parts, it starts to make sense. Right, so your challenge then would be to get this working, get it up and running, and obviously you're going to have to explain it in your notes, but also add player 2's hand into it. See if you can do the same thing again, and obviously output what player 1 and player 2 both have. Because that's a 9 minute 46 second video. I don't want to go any longer. I want you just to practice that.